Hey guys, welcome back to Hockey Hub. Today we'll talk about 10 of the most famous hockey events. Let's head into it. Number 10, 1983 Stanley Cup Final.
Trottier to Bossy. Bossy shooting it in back of the net. Andy Moe lost it. Gilly centered it. They score!
While it's recognized that the Edmonton team had lost this series was a dynasty, the last North American sports franchise to win 4 championships in a row were the 1983 New York Islanders. No NHL team has won more than 2 in a row since. Number 9, Messier lifts, the cup ends the drought.
Here it is. The waiting is over. The New York Rangers are the Stanley Cup champions. And this one will last a lifetime.
Mark Messier put his money where his mouth was in 1994 after guaranteeing a conference finals win over the New Jersey Devils. With the burden of a 54-year dry cup spell on Broadway, Messier practically willed the Rangers to victory in 7 games over a feisty Vancouver team. Number 8, the NHL Network Ice Center. Making the NHL available to cable subscribers on a 24/7 basis has certainly helped grow the product with the NHL Network. The advent of NHL Center Ice means that you can watch every NHL game being played that night. Never before has there been complete access to the NHL, beyond the limited coverage provided by ESPN and other online sports entities. Number 7, drug policy. With the collective bargaining agreement of 2004, the NHL instituted a new substance abuse policy: 20 games revoked for a first offense, 60 games revoked for a second offense, and a lifetime ban for a third positive test. I just finished reading Bob Probert's autobiography, and I thought it's fantastic and entertaining. Big Bob's career would have been considerably shorter had he played about 10 years later. Number 6, Brittany Cecil. As fast and violent as the NHL is, we take for granted how fast a little piece of galvanized rubber is also moving. The puck comes off the sticks of world-class athletes at speeds of over 100 miles. The guys diving in front of the shot are wearing protective gear designed to absorb most of the brunt from the puck. The picture above would look different in 2001 because the protective netting above the glass wouldn't be there. It's hard to conceive that over 10 years ago, a 13-year-old girl lost her life when she was struck by a deflected puck. And 85 years prior to March 16th of 2002, there had never been a fan fatality. Unfortunately, it took one for the Nets to go up in 2002 to 2003. Number 5, the Red Wings/Avalanche rivalry. In the mid to late 90s and through the turn of the century, there is no greater rivalry than in hockey, and possibly sports, than the Detroit-Colorado rivalry. Both teams were at the top of their respective games, with each team taking turns eliminating each other from the playoffs. The two franchises combined to win 5 Stanley Cups between 1996 and in 2002, with miles of penalty minutes and brawls for days. While there was a fair share of ugly moments between the two, the talent trumped all in some of the most passionate and inspired hockey ever seen. The two teams seemed to bring out the best in each other and often the worst in one another. Number 4, Canada Cup Series versus the Russians. Though this was an international tournament, it put arguably the 2 greatest players in NHL history on a line together against a great Soviet Union team. At this point in time, there were no Soviets in the NHL, so the international tournaments were where the Russians could showcase their talent. The final series between the two is considered by many to be the finest display of hockey in history. 3 consecutive 6-5 scorelines, the first game in overtime, the second a double overtime Canadian victory, and the third culminating with Gretzky assisting on Lemieux's Cup winner in Game 3. Number 3, Eric Lindros trade. If you think Anaheim hates the newest Edmonton Oiler, ask someone in Quebec what they think about Eric Lindros. He literally threatened to and then did sit out a year, not play in Quebec. Then he demanded a trade because he refused to learn French and didn't like the Quebec market. The deal became Lindros to Philadelphia for Peter Forsberg, Mike Rickey, Ron Hextall, Kerry Kaufman, Steve Dush, Chris Simon, and 2 first-round picks and $15 million in cash. The Nordics ultimately moved to Denver, an English-speaking town, and became the Avalanche. After the trade, they would go on to become a dominant franchise in the NHL. Number 2, NHL players in the Olympics. Professional athletes competing in amateur competition isn't something I personally favor, but it does make the quality of the product a lot better. Ever since NHL players were allowed into the Olympics in 1998, the intensity has seemed to get amped up a little bit more, and the rivalry between US and Canada seems to be pretty legit as well. No finer example than the gold medal game of 2010. Number 1, realignment. Following the 1992 to 1993 season, the NHL renamed the Clarence Campbell Conference and the Prince of Wales Conference as the Western and Eastern Conferences respectively. The Patrick and Adams divisions were divided into 3 regional smaller divisions in the East, while the Smith and Norris did the same in the West. Expansion and franchise relocation have brought about tentative proposals for a new realignment, but last year's proposal did not get passed, and the Winnipeg Jets get to hang out in the Southeast Division for at least another year. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.